Welcome everybody to the Hollywood Bets Gravel Meet on Sunday. Hope it's all been a good weekend for you so far. We are recording this on the Friday morning, and I got Len on the line to talk about the program. We are going to start with the bipod starting up, which as a maiden plate over the 1400 meters. Appears to be quite an open race from a market perspective. I can tell you they bet 3-1 the field, so 3-1 about 4 pressure point that Rachel's riding. Rachel Venica for Tony Riverland. 6th place of practice, joint favourite at the moment, 3-1. Chad Little's horse for MJ Odendaal is number 3, Beyond All Doubt, is at 7-2, and the 8 horse Hammerhead, Musi there for Duncan Howells, is 5-1. And then you can get 7-8-1 and better about the balance. Of course, Keegan DeMello, always worth considering. He's riding a horse called Green Commander. But Lenny, good morning. I guess it has an open look to it, doesn't it?
Good morning, Clyde. Yes, look, it's an interesting card on Sunday. Competitive as usual, but an interesting one. Starting off in the bipod, I agree with you. There's quite a few runners in with chances. My first choice is the 3 horse, Beyond All Doubt. He finished a good third after losing 3 lengths at the start last time, and he was only beaten under 2 lengths by Son of Rafif. And I really do think that he'll enjoy the extra distance. Then a horse like Pressure Point was only just pipped last time out. And to me, he looks the immediate danger. He does come back and trip a little bit from a 16 to a 14. And then both Taste the Rainbow and Place of Practice. They ran well below expectations last time, but I think they're clearly better than those runs. And I'm expecting good improvement from both of them on Sunday. So for the bipod, I'm not going to take any chances here. I'm going to go all 4 horses, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, we'll do that. And in the next leg, we are bankering that horse Red Taffety that Len likes in the bipod. And in the next race, after that, he likes that horse Mississippi Spice. And that's the cost of the bipod at $3.84. Okay, let's have a look at the third race on the card now. It's a maiden class field over the mile. And on Friday morning, I'll give you some sort of idea as to what the market looks like, where they bet 14-10 about Laf's horse, I beg your pardon, Adam Azzi's horse, Red Taffety. JP van der Merwe's riding that for Adam. Was 15-10, so there's been some interest in Red Taffety. The 6 Lilting Song is the second choice, who's currently trading at around 5-2. Chad Little and Glenn Cotson team up. Then the 9, Princess Trippy, is trading at around 4-1, and then you can get double figures about the balance. But I know you like Adam Azzi's horse here, Len. And I guess from a bipod perspective or a PA perspective, good enough?
Yes, Clyde, I would think so. Red Taffety's got some very good Cape form to her credit. And I think she should be too good for the opposition she meets here on Sunday. And just to add a bit more confidence there, I see that JP van der Merwe has only come up for the one ride, so I really do think that Red Taffety will take all the beating. Princess Trippy, look, she's coming along the right way and looks to be the main danger, whilst the other ex-Cape Town run, I would think, is this Lilting Song, who she may have found the polytrack a bit strange last time, but now that she's back on the turf, I think she'll run an improved. Although she did run second, but we all thought she'd win that day. But she'll probably do better on the turf. But all in all, very hard to beat Red Taffety.
Okay, fair enough. Was with Eric Sands. This horse is now with Adam Azzi. And let's see how that all plays out. Looks like she's going to take quite a bit of beating. So place accumulators have been worked out, and that's how we're playing it. Let's have a look at Class 5, fillies and mares over 1,600 metres, and note that the 6 horse has come out. That's not going to be running. So the latest in terms of the market with this particular event is that number 4 on the card, who is that horse St. Bridget, is top of the board at 3-1. 1 Oh My Gucci Girl is at 5-1. Then you got the 3 Mystique Rouge is at 13-2, and the 5 Mississippi Spice, who's trading at 7-1. So reasonably priced, but was a bit larger, was trading around 9-1 earlier. So I think Len may have got 10 early with Mississippi Spice, shortened 7-1. 10 Golden Angel 7s at the moment. 12 Mountains of the Moon is at 8-1, and the 7 Blind Speed is trading at around 10s, and it's 10s and better the other. Zena's Act is not running, that has come out. But that's the latest in terms of the market. I see, Lenny, when having a look at Mississippi Spice, the horse you like, that from that last form line, the third horse won, Master Bomber, and then a horse of Alison Wright's later in the form or down the page, a horse called Sword Speed came out and won. So that form's holding up very well.
Yes, certainly, Clive. Mississippi Spice, she appears to have really turned the corner recently. And that field she beat was a decent field of males. And as you just mentioned, in the process, she finished ahead of Master Bomber and Sword Speed, both winners of this respective races last Sunday. Now she reverts back to her own sex, and she's receiving weight from all but one in the race. I really cannot see this filly, with all things being equal, fair run in the race and nothing untoward going wrong. I see her winning again. If you look at the second favourite, which is favourite actually, St. Bridget's got to give her 8.5 kilos. I really can't see that happening. So I'm, putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm going with Mississippi Spice as a banker and all perms.
Okay, it's Michaela Michelle is going to be riding, and she's riding very well at the moment. So banker the 5. We're taking our chances with a 7-1 shot on the Friday morning, but that's how we see it. And we're looking to wrap the pick 6 today with that horse at the back, a horse called Iron Will. Okay, guys, let's go into the next race 5. It becomes a little more challenging now as you go. This is a class 4 fillies and mares over 1,900 meters. And it is, of course, the start of the jackpots as well. So you guys can have a look at what the intention is. An open race, this, Len. I guess there must be a good number of horses that have got chances in an event like this. I guess you've got to watch the market pretty closely, but it's not really indicating anything in particular. Not at this point in time anyway. I mean, it's really pretty much 9-2 the whole field, and not much support for any particular horse in the race. So I guess there are quite a few in the event that have got chances here.
Yes, Clyde, it does look that way. If you look at the betting, it's 9-2 the field, it looks to be very open. But this was Saki, she ran out an easy maiden winner last time when she tried the 1,750 meter trip. And I think the 1,900 meters will be no problem for her. I think she'll probably enjoy it. Although she didn't beat too much, you can only beat what you run against. So she looks to have more scope for improvement. Then the one horse Hodgepodge, she never runs a bad race, and she's going to be right there, as well as the 9 Sasha's Dream, who actually finished just ahead of Hodgepodge last time. And then the other horse who's also holding form well is Fine Wine. She loves the course and distance. But if you look past these 4, Clyde, it becomes very open. So I've had to trim it down, and I've trimmed it to these 4.
Okay, we've got them in 1, 6, 7, and 9 by 1, 2, 6, 9. By 1, 8, 9, 10, 14, by 1, 3, 4, 10, and 12. Okay, guys, let's go to our next race on the card. And this is a Class 4. 2,000 meters they got to cover in this event. It's a field of 10 that head to the gate. And from a Betway market perspective, let me pull up what's been going on. Again, it's one of those races, to be honest, when having a look, it's quite challenging. It's not easy. The rest of the jackpot, as you would have seen from Len, we've gone horses because these races present themselves that way. So again, in this particular race, you go 3-1 the field. I mean, Continental Express has done nothing wrong. Tops the boards at the moment at 3-1. 2 High Q is 7-2. 6 T-Dog is trading at 9-2, and the 9 Tobacconist is at 5-1. But if anything, Len, there's a little bit of support for Michaela Michelle's ride for Peter Muscat, DeAndre's Dream. I see that shortened into 7-1. But other than that, very quiet.
Yes, Clyde, this does look a bit open again. So there's quite a few in with winning chances. Continental Express, he's highly consistent, and he'll again run a good race. Although at the weights, the 2 horse Haku should have the beating of Continental Express. But he hasn't won a race for over 500 days. So, one can't be too confident about that. Then the 6 horse T-Dog, he's really in good form at the moment and deserves utmost respect. Along with Tobacconist, who's coming to hand. And he loves the course and distance. So he must be a big runner. And then the 10 horse for me, Rodriguez, I know I keep following him in that, but he's capable on his day, and he does seem to pop up at Greyville, so which seems to be his best course. So I'd include all 5 in the Pick 6 and jackpots.
Right, thanks for that, Glenn. 1, 2, 6, and 9. That's the plan, boxing the exacta. And if you do it that way, we're recommending a 60 Rand spend. Okay, guys, welcome back. We move on to our next event on the card. It's a race that you're going to have to go horses. There are a few in here that have certainly got chances. And in terms of the market, I can tell you that it's a 5-1 the field race, and that Canals Skater tops the boards and is at 5s at the moment. 9 Rolling the Viking is at 6-1, 7-1 about the 14 Wild at War, same with the 1 Down by the River, and number 11 Udzuano is at 7-1. Clear the Runways 8-1 and then 14-1, and Better About the Balance. Probably the most challenging race on the card. Maybe it gets a little bit easier the next couple of races. Got 1 or 2 Shrudies in here that you like, Len?
Clyde, for me, this is a nightmare of a race. You know, if you analyze it and look, sure, you can make a case for virtually anything. You know, I tend to side with the younger horses when it comes to these kind of races, but Canal Skater is a weak favourite, but drawn 10 over the 1400, it's not going to be easy for him. So I would suggest that punters include as many as possible here. You know, if one could put the field in the Pick 6, go for it. But I've trimmed it down as best I can.
Yeah, I see of those 5, it is a second jackpot. So there you go. Make a note of that. Second jackpot costs 250 Rand. And of the top 5 that Len has got in here, perhaps that was Clear the Runway. Not a bad price, trading around 7-8-1 at the moment. So Gavin Lorena's there. He's riding for the Cock team. And this horse, Next of Kin, there's been a bit of money for this. It opened at around 7-1, is now shortened into 5-1, number 1, Next of Kin. So that may well be the right one. Got Drickus to beat, though. Drickus, Serena Moodley's riding that for the Andre Nel stable. The 10 horse is priced up at 4-1 as we speak. 4 Prince of Troy is at 6-1. That's Keegan DeMello's taken the ride for Alison Wright stable. And the 12, Here's Town Crier, is trading at 8-1. And then you can get 10s and better about the others. The Cock horse, that horse, My Lucky Charm, perhaps not without a chance. But there's been interest in Gavin Lorena's ride here, Len.
Yes, Clyde. It's another competitive race, and the coupling from the Mark and Matthew de Kock stable, Next of Kin and My Lucky Charm, must be serious contenders. Then you've got to look at the 10 horse Drickus. He may have just been in need of his last run. But he's got an awkward draw of 10 to try and negotiate from. So, although I think, you know, he will run a big race, but it just depends what happens early on in running. And then a horse like Prince of Troy, you know, he's only had the 3 runs, and he's capable of good improvement. Then the 12 horse, Town Crier, he's another runner not to be ignored, as he's shown improvement since he's been racing in blinkers. So, all in all, again, a competitive race.
Okay, another recommended exacta here, 1, 3, 4, and 10. And be warned that their money, early money, has come for Next of Kin. Okay, guys, let's get on to race number 9. It's a class 5 over the 1400 meters. And this particular race should go at about 10 past 4. And with regards to the horse that Len likes, Iron Will, you would have known that because he's bankered it in the Pick 6. Well, hopefully by now, if you're watching at race time, Mississippi Spice has already won, which will make a lot of sense because Iron Will was only beaten a half a length by Mississippi Spice on that occasion. And the 3rd horse, Master Bomber, won, and Sword Speed further down the page came out and won. So hopefully it'll be a solid form line for you, Len, when Mississippi Spice wins that race. But makes sense then as to why you like Iron Will and the point of having a bet, I guess.
Yes, Clyde. You know, I didn't really notice, well, until the Mississippi form line here, until I got here. But to me, he's the foremost of the race, and he loves Greyville. He's very versatile. He can run from 1200 to 1600. So the 1400 is right down his alley. And as you say, I mean, it'll be a good if Mississippi Spice wins. Well, it just enhances his chances here. In saying that, we're looking for bankers. We can't put everything in the perms, and I do think he's a reasonably solid banker. Look, Joshua Hotsnake, he bounced back to his best form last time, but I do feel that he's better suited to the poly track. The 4-horse, Kimbalahara, he enjoys a 4.5 kilo turnaround with Iron Wool, so he could be dangerous, but I still favour Iron Wool. And then, of course, the 1-horse, which we've got to respect, Blue Steel, who was a very comfortable winner of his maiden, but that was on the poly track. And, first run out the maidens, and he's been lumped with 63 to shoulder against some of these reasonably hard knockers. I think it's quite a tough task for him. So I think we'll get a big run for our money with Iron Wool.
Okay. Iron Wool is the horse to beat, ladies and gents. That's pretty much the plan in terms of the way we're going. And we hope for Mr. Govender that Iron Wool brings home the money. A Class 4 wraps up the last race. Should go at about 10 to 5 on the Sunday afternoon. It's a quick 1,000 metres. We get it out the way, and there are 10 of them that are going to the gate. From a market perspective, let me bring you up to speed with what was happening on Friday morning. And number 2, Position of Power, top of the boards at 2 to 1. 5, Mar del Plata is at 5 to 1. Number 4, Cavalry Command is trading at 13 to 2. And then you can get 7 or 8 to 1 and better about the other. So I guess Position of Power is the right horse in the race. The form doesn't seem to be too bad. Keegan DeMello riding out of his skin. Alison Wright's been having winners. Circumbendibus came out and won the other days to Frank the City of Love form line, which makes a lot of sense now for Position of Power, I guess, Lenny. So the right one?
Yes, Clyde, I'm in full agreement with that. He does deserve his position as favourite at the top of the boards. He seldom runs a bad race. He had one indifferent run where he was unplaced, but otherwise he's been in the placings and won 2 of his 4 starts over at Greyville, over the 1,000. So he's definitely the one to beat. The 9-horse Rainbow Reward, he's extremely fast, and he could be a bit difficult to catch if he gets away from his rivals over this 1,000-meter trip. So be careful of him. And thereafter, it becomes wide open. You've got horse like Chara Sands, runner-up in his last 2. Trafalgar Square's only got a lightweight on Sunday. Smorgasbord's got to be in with a chance. But there are many others. That's why in the trifecta I decided I'll just bank a Position of Power with the field and see what happens after that.
Fair enough. Makes sense, and that's the way we can get some money out of that trifecta. Bank of the 2, field by field. Thanks, Len. Thanks, everybody. Hope you had all good weekend, and we look forward to chatting to you again when we go racing next week. There'll be racing, of course, on Tuesday. We go to the Vaal.